This is a never-ending story of KSI and Jake Paul. In 2018, KSI would defeat Joe Weller and YouTube boxing would be born. While it became the biggest white-collar event in history, there has been one rivalry that has been debated since: KSI versus Jake Paul. With KSI beating Logan Paul and Jake Paul beating Deji, it only became natural to assume Jake and KSI would both seek vengeance from their own brothers' losses.
So ultimate goal is getting revenge for your brother. You want to go in a fight with KSI. That's the goal after this, if you are victorious.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
YouTubers and fans have speculated around the world who was the better boxer and who would actually win.
If JJ boxes Jake how he boxed Logan the second time, he will lose.
Yet after 6 years and 16 opponents later, we are still left with no answers. Throughout these years, Jake and KSI have both blamed each other on why the fight hasn't happened yet.
No one could have been ducking me! You fought Nate Diaz! Instead of me! I was meant to fight you, and you said no, so I said fuck you, I'm fighting Tommy, and I'll show you that I'm the fucking king in this shit.
You were ducking through negotiations. You didn't want to weigh 185. 180.
Oh nah, he got kicked.
However, looking back at history, it was KSI who called out Jake first, and it was Jake who originally ducked the fight.
Logan,
So this is all he wants. Here we go.
I want a straight answer. Yes, let's have a boxing match, or no,
No, I'm not boxing you, KSI.
Throughout these years from 2018 to 2024, it's obvious both KSI and Jake want the fight. However, circumstance and ego has clouded their ability on being able to deliver. Whether that's the weight, the rehydration clause, or wanting to fight a pro boxer, it's evident they both wanted to fight at two complete different times.
We agreed on the venue, we agreed on the date, we agreed on pretty much everything. They did the Tommy fight. I said, let's do the JJ fight next. And then he said, Nikisa, in fairness, said, I like this fight. I think this is what Jake should do next. I think it's a great money fight.
It made a lot of sense, yeah.
Jake said, no, I don't want to do this fight. And his excuse was, I want to redeem my loss by fighting a bigger name. As big a name as Nate is, he's not as tough a challenge as JJ would be.
However, after the KSI Tommy Fury fight, everything has seemed to have changed. In October of last year, KSI fought and lost to Tommy Fury. In an attempt to label himself better than Jake Paul, he had failed.
The winner by majority decision, Tommy.
After the loss, KSI admitted on an episode on Logan Paul's podcast, Impulsive, that he was considering retiring from YouTube boxing.
Are you gonna box again? Like, I guess that's kind of why I feel like it could very well maybe not happen.
I think for right now, I'm just kind of enjoying myself.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, we'll see.
Rightfully, fans were confused as for the whole of 2022 and 2023, KSI made one thing clear. The only reason it came back to boxing was to beat Jake Paul.
KSI, is that a fight that seems destined for you?
Why do you think I'm here? Why do you think I've come back? Everyone thinks Jake Paul is sick. He's not. He's not good. And I'm going to expose him. I got an end goal, and that is Jake Paul, ladies and gentlemen. Best believe I will get past every single opponent. And then when I get to him, he's getting flatlined, he's getting destroyed, and my legacy will live on forever.
After the KSI and Tommy Fury fight, Jake fought a labeled pro boxer, Andre August, and KO'd him in spectacular fashion.
Andre needs to be careful about ducking down.
On the same night, KSI sparred a live streamer, I Showed Speed. The event raised money for charity. However, beforehand, KSI made it clear he wanted to stream on the same day and time as Jake Paul's fight.
Jake has a fight soon.
Oh yeah, against
Same night as another event.
It'll be good. There'll be a lot of people watching. I know there'll be more people watching our spar than Jake's fight.
To many, it was obvious this was an attempt to prove to the world and himself he had more relevance and pulling power than Jake. Fans were rightly confusing why KSI was still making jabs at Jake, considering months prior he had considered a possibility on retiring. It felt unauthentic as KSI had essentially backed down from the fight he had promised for so long. After Jake had won, it was clear KSI's attempt to take away attention from Jake's fight didn't work, and actually did the complete opposite as Jake Paul became the most talked about person online. In an interview with Fred Talks Fighting, KSI stated he didn't even know Jake was fighting.
Jake Paul winning by first round knockout. Your reaction?
I mean, am I shocked? No. Like, we all know that Jake just looks for super easy fights, and he fought a cab driver this time. So yeah, it is what it is. I don't really care about him. I didn't even know he was fine. I didn't even know he was fine at the same time as me, so yeah.
To many, it was obvious KSI was lying, and many began to call him out for his envy. Days later, an episode of Impulsive would feature Jake Paul. In the podcast, Jake exposed KSI's lies and called him out for not wanting to get the fight signed.
Jake Paul KSI fight were to happen, I would watch that fight. After the knockout this past weekend, are you closer or further away from that fight ever happening?
Further, always further. He's not going to do it, and I've said it since the beginning of time. He wants to talk about everything except actual negotiations to make the fight happen. The more serious I take it, the more scared he's gonna get, and that's point blank, period.
I need y'all to fight and then make up so you can join Prime.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not gonna fight me.
We'll see. We'll see.
So at the end of the day, I just don't think he's a good person.
Damn.
Later in the episode, Logan would attempt to justify KSI's actions.
I have to strongly disagree. You don't know him. And just like he doesn't know you. And I've said this before, bro, KSI is not JJ. In my head, those are like two different things, two different entities. And he knows this, when he is in KSI land, he can reach a level of confidence and power that I'm not sure like JJ, the FIFA gamer, would have. I believe, and I could be incorrect.
Can I just play this clip just so I don't get out of context here?
No, like we all know that Jake just looks for super easy fights, and he fought a cab driver this time. So yeah, it is what it is. I don't really care about him. I didn't even know he was fine. I didn't even know he was fine at the same time as me. So yeah,
it's such a lie. He's just a fucking liar.
I think it's clear since the start of 2024, Jake has been clear he wants the KSI fight next. Yet whenever KSI has been asked about the possibility on him fighting Jake Paul this year, he has been reluctant to give a definitive answer. It looks as though KSI will be fighting another high-profile name in the summer, with many speculating it may be UFC superstar Jorge Masvidal. There is no denying that KSI versus Masvidal will do huge numbers, and knowing KSI is looking to take a step back from fighting and focus back on his music, it's almost certain this will be one of his last fights. Yet, with the boxing promotion misfits just beginning, it doesn't feel right to not complete the storyline that first started YouTube boxing. As a result of KSI versus Jake, will allow the next stage of the scene to continue and evolve.
Will that KSI versus Jake Paul fight ever happen?
Your guess is as good as mine, man. I would love for it to happen. I think, going back to the story having an ending, you can't get a better ending than that. Stranger things have happened, and if we could make that fight happen and it was fair to both of them and all parties were happy, then it would be fantastic. Obviously, it would be the biggest spectacle in our space ever in history, and that's one I don't think you can repeat for a long time. Something on that level of grandeur.